guys, what is up? Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome back. If you're not, today I am going to be showing you my 2024 TBR. So let's get into it. This will be my physical and my non-physical TBR for 2024. I know that reading all of these books probably is not attainable for my lifestyle right now, but I still want to share them all with you guys. So let's go ahead and start with my physical. My physical TBR has 19 books on it. The first two books in my physical TBR are The Fine Print and The Final Offer. These are two books in a 3-part standalone series. I've already read part 2, so I'm a little bit nervous to read 1 and 3 because I love 2 so much, but it's about 3 different brothers and they're all romance books. The next book in my physical TBR is The Locked Door by Frida McFadden. I got this for Christmas. I have heard so many amazing things about Frida McFadden, so I am so excited to read this book. I really don't even remember what it's about, but I honestly might start reading this one today. The next two books are The Way I Used to Be series. It's The Way I Used to Be and The Way I Am Now. If you guys have never heard about this series before, you should know that it is a very emotionally draining and heavy kind of story, which isn't the stories that I normally gravitate towards, but I got these for Christmas. I did ask for them. I do want them, but I'm gonna have to be in a certain mood to read these. Also, I just want to say these are not in any certain order. These are just all of the books that I have. Some of them are even filler books. Some books on my not physical TBR I want to read way more than some of like the filler books that I have here. But I still wanted to read as many books as possible that I already have in this new year. The next one I am very excited for is Love from Scratch by Caitlin Hill. This is just like a cutesy little romance, obviously dealing with like food and the culinary arts, and it's also an enemies to lovers. Before We Were Strangers is written by Renee Carlino, I believe is how you say it. This is a second chance romance story. I have had this one for a little while now and I just haven't read it, but I have heard amazing things about it, so I definitely want to dive into this one this year. The next one I got at Target. I've never heard about it before, but I thought it looked cute. It is Just Haven't Met You Yet by Sophie Cousins. I have heard of this author before, but I haven't really heard much about her, so I'm not really sure. This one is again just a cutesy little romance. I think this will probably just be like a filler book between like more of the heavier books that I read this year, but it does look really good and I've never read anything from this author. This next one I'm obviously going to read around Christmas next year. It is A Cross-Country Christmas. Wow, that is a tongue twister. A Cross-Country Christmas by Courtney Walsh. I did start this book and I got through like 2 chapters on the Kindle app, and then I got another book that I wanted more, so I started reading that one. So we'll see how this one goes. This one is a thinner book, again, cute romance, enemies to lovers, but also like brother's best friend. These next 3 books are ones that I have a lot of other non-physical books right now that I want to read more than these, but these I've had for a long time. One of them I got this year, the other 2 I got a while ago, so I really need to read them. And I've heard like good things about these authors. The first one is The Ninth Month by James Patterson. Oren and I did a little book date where we went to Barnes & Noble and picked out books for each other. And this was the one that he picked out for me, about a mother-to-be, and obviously it's a mystery thriller. The next one is Vanishing Girls by Lisa Reagan. I think this is a YA mystery thriller, which personally I really like YA mystery thrillers because they aren't normally as like gory and scary and dark, but they still like keep you on the edge of your seat. And then the third one is The Safest Lies by Megan Miranda. I've heard really good things about this author. I've never read anything from her, but I have heard really good things about it. And this one, the story, like reading the back of it, looks really good. But again, I just have other books I'm so excited to read like over this one, but I do have this one. So this one is like, if I read the rest of them here and I don't have the money to buy more books yet, I'll read this one. The next one that I have is The Inheritance Games. I actually did not mean to buy this book, and I actually didn't buy this book. I placed a big order on Barnes & Noble and this one came with it. Like, it says that I paid for it, but I didn't pay for it, and I never saw this book before it showed up at my house. But I know that a lot of people are loving it now, so I do want to read it. It looks like something that I would enjoy reading. So I definitely want to read this one. If you saw my Christmas haul video, which if you haven't, you should go watch it, you'll know that I got like a bunch of books for Christmas, and Oren actually got me 6 books. He got me a series of 5, and then this one, which is Inkheart. I've actually never heard of this one before. It's by Cornelia Funk. I think that the books he got me, he read like in junior high-ish. This one is a like fantasy kind of thriller book, and it is a pretty big book, so I will jump into this at some point in this year because obviously Oren got it for me, so I need to read them. And then, like I said, the last books on my physical TBR are the Ravensgate series. One of them I have already started reading. I started reading it and it's not like my favorite yet, like I'm just not hooked yet. It's about a 14-year-old boy, and in the first or second chapter it explained him as like muscular and good looking, and I'm like, I am 21 years old. I don't know if I should be thinking of a 14-year-old boy that way. So that kind of turned me off from the books a little bit. Like if I were in junior high, I think I would be hooked. But also the writing, because it is very like elementary YA, is so juvenile. Like the sentences are so easy to read, and like, not that that's bad, but it's just, I'm not used to reading that. So we'll see if I get to these. I feel like I need to because Oren got them for me. But I'll definitely read the first one. Now let's go through my not physical TBR. Now either I will eventually buy these books or I will read them on the Kindle app. There are 48 books in this category, so I'm going to try to quickly get through these. The first one is the Housemaid series by Frida McFadden. This one I've heard amazing things about. I should actually be getting the book this weekend because my aunt's giving it to my mom when they see each other. So I'm really excited about that one. I really want to read 1 or 2 books before I read that one though, just to kind of jumpstart my reading for the year, because it's currently January 5th and I have not read a single thing, which makes me feel like I'm already falling behind. The second one is the Fourth Wing series. I have heard so many amazing things about this series. I have heard a lot of people who love ACOTAR love this series, and I am obsessed with that series. So I really want to read Fourth Wing. The next one is Into the Ashes by Kara Thomas. If you guys don't know who Kara Thomas is, she is a YA writer. She writes mainly mystery thrillers, and I've read almost every single one of her books. I love them. I started reading them in high school. And Into the Ashes is actually the first adult thriller that she has written, so I'm really interested. It came out, I think, in May this year, and I just haven't gotten to it yet. The next one is kind of a newer one that I want to read. It's the Shatter Me series. This was not, if you would have asked me like a week ago, this was not on my TBR. It's a 6-book series. That just seems like a lot when I have so many other books I want to read. But my cousin read it, and she texted me and she's like, have you read this series? And I was like, no, like I've heard it's good. She's like, I'm literally on the 5th book and I started it on break. So she is flying through these books, so I really want to read them now. It's another fantasy series, which I do want to read more of this year. The next one is just a cutesy little romance that I found at Barnes & Noble. It's called For Better or For Worse. I believe it's another enemies to lovers. Probably a lot like Love from Scratch, just because it has to do with like culinary arts and stuff like that. But the cover was just so cute, and I love the color of the cover. So I want to read it. Another series that I want to read this year is a 3-book series by Stephanie Garber. It is the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. Again, this is one that like wasn't really on my TBR list until my sister-in-law read it and told me that I needed to read it. And if she tells me I need to read something, I will trust her. The next book, I cannot believe that I haven't read yet. I know so many people who have the book. I just need to like borrow it from them or something. It is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Don't know why I haven't read it yet. I've only read one Taylor Jenkins Reid book, and it's One True Loves, and it was one of my favorite books I read this year. So I really want to read that one. I might even read that one in January if I can access it. There are a ton of series in my non-physical TBR right now, and the next one is the Cruel Prince series. This one I think has 5 books in it. I really just want to read the first one to see if I like the series. The next one is Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. Again, not sure how to say it. I just read my first book from him. It was The House Across the Lake. That one stunned me. I was shocked. It's been a long time since I literally like was speechless at a part of a book, and that one just like threw something in out of left field, and I was shocked. So I really want to read The Locked Door. It looks really, really good. Believe it or not, the romance book lover in me, I have never read any Ali Hazelwood books. I've heard they are just like all amazing. So this year I really hope that I have time to read The Love Hypothesis and Love Theoretically. I've heard they're both amazing, amazing romance books, so I really need to read them. And then the next 2 are from Abby Jimenez, which I have also heard is an amazing author. The first one is Yours Truly. This one I almost bought this year and then I ended up not because I think I grabbed another ACOTAR one instead. And I also want to read her new release that is coming out in the summer. It's called Just for the Summer. I honestly haven't even read what it's about, but just the cover of it looks so cute. Next up is The 7-Year Slip. This one I think is a second chance romance. I'm not 100% sure, but I have heard that there are just things in this book that leave you stunned, that leave you speechless. Like, this is a book that you just take a while to recover from, and so I really want to read it now. It's been blowing up on Book Talk. Next series is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This is a 3-book series. I honestly cannot believe I've never read this. Like, I ate those books up in high school. Like, I read some romance in high school, but I mainly read mystery thrillers, and I cannot believe I have not read that one yet. It's such a popular series. Again, my sister-in-law read it, loved it, so now I really want to read it as well. The next one is Hopeless by Elsie Silver. Honestly, the only reason I want to read this one, it's a full series. I only want to read this one though, at least first, is because the author's name is Elsie, and that's not a name that you hear very often. So I really want to read that, and this one's about, like, I think it's like a cowboy western type of romance, which I've really never read, so I kind of want to read that one. Next is Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. I've just heard amazing things about this book. When I picked it up, it wasn't one that I necessarily was like, oh, I need to read that based on like the little summary at the back of the book, but everyone says it's like one of the best books that they've read. So that's one, if I have time, I'll get to it and I will see for myself if I love it just as much as everyone else says that they do. The next one is by Hannah Grace. I did read Icebreaker this past year. It was okay. It wasn't like my favorite book, but she has one release called Wildfire, I believe, right now, about a character who was in that book. And that's not one that I like want to read super badly, but Daydream is about Henry, who was in that book, and I loved his character, and I cannot wait till she releases that this year. The next one is actually in a series that I started. I think, again, it's kind of a standalone series, but it's like each book, kind of like the Icebreaker series, each book is about somebody in the first book. So the first book was Love Light Farms by B.K. Borison. I absolutely loved that book. I liked the writing style, I liked all the characters, and so the second book is, I believe it's called Mixed Signals, and it is about one of the guys in this book. And then the third one is coming out this year, I believe, if it hasn't already come out, and it's called Into the Woods. I really just want to finish that series since I started it and I really loved the first book. And then the last 2 series that I have on my TBR this year, I have actually read before. They are rereads. I am not the type of person to reread a book. I can rewatch a movie tons of times. I don't want to reread a book. I don't know why. It's just never been really something that I'm interested in. However, this year I really want to make a video of me rereading my favorite series from when I was in junior high, just to see if they stand up, if I still love them. So the 2 series that I really want to read are the Maximum Ride series. That was my favorite series until ACOTAR, and it's 8 books long. And I think I read 7 of them. I don't think I read the 8th one. And then the last one is the Matched series, which is 3 books. I read it in 6th grade, and I remember loving it. I honestly don't think I finished the 3rd book, so I really want to do that and just see kind of how they compare and everything. So that was my physical and non-physical TBR for 2024. Like I said, there are 67 books in this, and I am sure more will come out during the year that I want to read. Please comment down below what your top few books that you want to read this year are. I feel like some of my top ones are Fourth Wing. I really want to read that. That one just kind of stands out to me. The Frida McFadden books for sure. And then Into the Ashes by Kara Thomas, just because I love her work. I would say those are my top ones, but let me know down below what your top ones are. Let me know if you have any recommendations, and I'll add it to this long, never-ending list of books that I want to read. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. I will see you in my next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.